If you're down or heading a fall, better get yourself up and head it on. Five fundamental bank fishing tips. And we'll just get right on with it here. Number 5, protect yourself. And I can mean a few things by that. First of all, mosquitoes and bugs. You know, some of the guys out there are like, hey, I don't need to protect myself from mosquitoes. That's no big deal. They never bother me. And then, you know, a couple days later, you're reading about that same guy in the newspaper just disappearing off a riverbank somewhere. I'm not saying he got carried away by mosquitoes, but I'm not saying he didn't. Another kind of bug you got to worry about is chiggers. So please wear long pants. I in fact have some experience with this. You know, you think it's hot outside, you go fishing in your shorts, you sit down on that nice grassy knoll, and then you wake up the next morning and you got chiggers on your thighs right next to your... And trust me, you don't want this. This is something you do not want. Finally, probably the main thing to protect yourself is a cell phone. I always put my wallet and cell phone in a plastic bag just to protect them too. But let's say you're walking along fishing the bank, you're heading to a new spot, and an alligator comes up and takes your foot. This will be your friend because it's really hard to gather all your things and hobble back to your bike or your car or something and get to safety. It's best to call 911 and get some help to you as soon as you can. Number 4. Pack light, be mobile. There's a couple different ways you can do that. Some guys like these bags that you can put all your different poles in, and then you got a little strap and you can put it over your shoulder. If you want to go with that, that's fine. You know, it's got little nifty gadgets and pockets and a little place for your umbrella or tent. That's your style, but I go a little lighter than that. You know, when I go bank fishing, I try to just take 1 or 2 poles. Like if I'm surf fishing, I might just take a surf rod and that's it. And I'll hold it instead of putting it in PVC and trying to fish with 3 or 4 poles, because if you're mobile, you can find the fish a lot better. You're going to do a lot better if you're fishing a riverbank or a lake, if you just got a catfish rod and something to catch bait with, because you can just pick it up and move. So what I do is I just carry a couple poles, maybe 1 or 2 poles, and this is a backpack that's also a cooler, so I can throw a little bit of ice in there, a box of apple juice, maybe a water, and even my bait. And that's all I need. So if I'm carrying a backpack around, I got my 2 poles, I can go find the fish a lot faster. That's the secret to bank fishing. The third tip, it's a little more unusual. Talk to the popo. Yes, the police are your friend in this instance. The police are your friend. So let's say you're driving down the street and you're looking at the convenience store and there's a couple cop cars there. Pull over and talk to these guys. Walk in, get yourself a Gatorade, and you know, walk up to them, be very polite. Be like, oh, excuse me, sir, or ma'am. Or if they got 2 stripes, call them a corporal. If they got 3 stripes, call them a sergeant. They love that. But anyway, say, excuse me, sir, I know you're really busy and the last thing you need is some guy coming up to you looking, you know, asking for advice, but I got a question if I could take some of your time. So they'll appreciate that, but they'll also be a little scared. They'll be like, oh man, this guy needs legal advice. He's probably some crackhead or something. But then you tell them your story, be like, look, I'm a bank fisherman. I can't really afford a boat right now. I was wondering if you might know some fishing spots. And these are the perfect guys to ask because they're spending their time just driving around. And they're looking at stuff like that. You know, if they'll notice access to water. It's just a natural thing. And if you're cool with them, they might share that with you. And if you got like a city cop and a county cop together, you can kind of get them going back and forth. And they'll be like, oh yeah, I know this spot. And the other guys will be like, oh yeah, I know a better spot. And just take mental notes on this. That's a very important tip. The police are your friend. Second, this one has a little bit more to deal with fishing. It is becoming one with nature. And there's tons of videos on this on YouTube everywhere. And pretty much Don't just walk up to the bank, cast your pole, set them down, and hope the fish bite. Look around, take your time, see if there's any sort of water coming into the body you're fishing, maybe some sort of mouth, or if you're on the ocean, maybe look for different patterns in the breakers for a riptide or something, wherever there's water movement. Fish love that. So don't just go out and, cast your poles and wait. Kind of look around, maybe there's some birds diving in, or they're picking at the bank, some storks, or I don't know. But just look around. Maybe you'll see some rollers on top of the water. Bait fish is another good thing to look for. Just take your time, become one with nature, enjoy yourself while you're out there. Finally, probably the most important tip is don't get discouraged, especially when you're bank fishing. You will get skunked. It just happens. So, you go out in the spring and you're like, hey, I'm going to go fishing. And then you go and you don't catch anything. You're like, oh man, I'm not going to fish till the summer. Don't be like that. Just keep trying. Good things will happen. Try something different next time you go. And if I helped you out in any way at all, go ahead and scroll down and push some of them buttons. Thank you.